everybody. Welcome back to episode 86 of the Silly One Podcast. I'm your host, Colin. I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we got the show for you.
Here.
The ayes have it. This week, oh snap, my microphone's all tangled up.
You're all wrapped up.
We almost had a technical issue.
Got that thing oiled down? Oiled down?
Oiled down. No, this week we decided to torture ourselves on your behalf.
Yeah.
And we watched...
The long-awaited.
Yeah, highly anticipated. In some ways, yes, that is true. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. For those that aren't familiar, it is the horror movie based on Winnie the Pooh and some of the other characters from 100 Acre Woods. Basically, somebody in Great Britain, I don't have the guy's name pulled up, was, I guess, maybe already had this thing written.
Yeah, because as soon as that thing came up, he basically dropped the trailer.
Yeah, and they were like, all right, as soon as that thing's in the public domain.
It was within the first week.
Oh, yeah, it was like, Winnie the Pooh has entered the public domain, and here's the horror movie. Which, I mean, yeah, go for it. And I really like that the suggestion in my head is two things. First of all, it means that, well, there's a few things at play there. Disney probably doesn't care about Winnie the Pooh as a property too much. Otherwise, they would have stopped it from entering the public domain because they are one of the biggest lobbyers on Congress to keep things out of the public domain.
Correct.
Because of Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is great, like so close to being in the public domain every time that gets extended. So my hope is that. And I think they've kind of given up on that. Because other than like the Mickey ears at Disney and stuff, they've kind of stopped using Mickey as the mascot. Yeah. He doesn't have shows really anymore. You don't have like the Mickey Mouse
It's more
Clubhouse
like the princesses and stuff like that. The Avengers.
They're leaning
Star
into the
Wars.
other stuff and going, yeah, obviously Mickey is still the face, but we're not pushing that character too hard, which means maybe, just maybe, we can get a Steamboat Willie horror movie.
Stop it.
I mean, it's close.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. Oh, that's what I've been thinking about. I got two things on my that's what I've been thinking about this week. But no, so we watched Blood and Honey, and then to get that fucking taste out of our mouth, spoiler alert, we went and watched 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
Because I remember it fondly as a good horror movie. I read the comic last week, and you had never seen it or really heard of it.
No.
So it was the perfect combo for us to come together and then come back here and dissect it. We'll stay there. You're so good. Let me take a little sippy poo of my cocktail. For why? There's nothing wrong with me.
Take a little sip. I'll do the same thing.
Oh, smooth. No, I put a chili lime seasoning rim on my cocktail.
You're licking the what rim?
And I just inhaled just a flake of chili, and I think I might die. But we're going to be okay. The lime juice is helping. So, we did those two horrible things. I do have just a few things in the news. I decided to take the news pretty light since last week's was about an hour of news.
Yeah, it was heavy.
And my throat was sore by the time I was done. Heavy! Thank you. We'll be here next week.
Yep.
In the news, we do have a Amazon release date for the Fallout television show. That was announced today, Monday the 23rd. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has released and has set a personal record at Sony. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action series on Netflix, got its first still photos from on set. I don't know if they look like they're in-scene photos.
Yeah.
Of some of the main characters. In fact, I think pretty much all of the main characters. Other than I didn't see Toph.
No, or Momo or Appa.
Yeah, they didn't show us any of the CG characters, which is fine. Let's hold those off.
Better not be ass.
Well,
they should do practical.
Just give us a practical sky buffalo. Just a sky bison.
Come on.
How are you going to do that practical, Chris?
Oh my gosh. Well, like, obviously you can CGI it, but, like, make it like an actual thing and then just CG the face a little bit. right? So it can look more alive.
Come
Come on, you telling me you dumping millions and millions of dollars in this? You can't make that happen?
A lot of times...
What was it? The Never-Ending Story?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful job.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was practical.
I know. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just probably not the most efficient. You're talking business. I mean, you're asking Netflix to go, yeah, but think of the art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Think of
the art. Think of the art. Come on. We do it for the love of the craft. No, you don't. You do it for the bottom line.
Say, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You know what?
Next.
You know what, Mr. Netflix? Lick my balls. Because you won't even pay actors. So, like 2 cents per subscriber or whatever the fuck it was. So.
And that's the T sisters.
Yeah. Fuck. I just splashed a drink on myself trying to rattle my ice. That's my beat. So what do you want to start with? Those are the only 3 stories I got for you.
The Avatar still photos looked really freaking cool.
Yeah, like...
They looked really promising because when you first said that, I totally forgot that it
you
was...
had your fucking nose turned up.
I turned into a scowl just because all I can think of was the live-action Nickelodeon one from like 2008.
Honestly, I forgot that movie so hard that when we talked about M. Night Shyamalan, we didn't mention it.
No, I guess we didn't.
Like when we were talking about his movies of like, maybe does he have as many good ones as he does bad ones? No. Like we didn't even address that Avatar happened. But this looks much better.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's much better. Yeah, let's see here. We did get to see Aang. We got to see Katara. We got to see Sokka, Commander Zhao, Princess Azula, and Uncle Iroh, as well as Prince Zuko. And I really like Prince Zuko.
Yeah, he's looking dope.
He looks pretty
fresh.
badass.
I can't wait till he has like his long hair.
Yeah, they got the burn on his eye.
Like,
really good.
I hate his bald head thing.
Yeah, with the ponytail thing.
It looks weird, but as soon as he gets his hair,
yeah,
he's kind of hot.
They're all children, you know that,
They're
right?
all fictional anime characters, so
that's a very neckbeard defense. Technically, she's a 1,000-year-old goddess.
Oh, come on,
in the
dude.
body of an 8-year-old, and you're like, whoa.
We were watching Blood and Honey, and Pooh came out, and I went, smash.
Smash! Pooh, the little Pooh Bear in his overalls and work boots, and just
In
smash.
that fucking beer belly.
Yeah, with obviously a pillow in the costume. Smash.
Smash.
Piglet.
Hard.
He just looks like Bebop and or Rocksteady, whichever one's the war dog.
Bebop.
Yeah.
Bebop is the warhog.
Yeah. Yeah, because Rocksteady's a rhino. R&R. Oh, man. But no, I'm pretty excited for this. I was trying to look and see if we have a release window, but it doesn't look like it. Not yet.
Is there any news about the FNAF movie?
Yeah, it released like yesterday.
We gotta go see that.
I know. Like we've got to see it, and we've got to go see fucking Killers of the Flower Moon, and we can't do both at the same time because Killers of the Flower Moon is like 4 hours long. And I am hearing like nothing but great like Oscar shit from Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah. So I think FNAF's got to wait.
Yeah.
Sorry about it.
It's all right, man. I'm sorry.
You just start weeping. All right, what do you want to go to next? Fallout or Spider-Man?
Fallout.
Yeah, so that came out today. They did like a little trailer sort of thing, but it wasn't really a trailer. It was just the Pip-Boy, counting down, and then it gave us the date of 4. Oh, I completely lost it. I think it was the 12th. Let me find it here.
The 12th of what?
April of 2024. Yeah, April 12th, 2024. So, I mean, that'll be here before we know it.
I'm going to be on that shit hard.
Like I said, didn't show anything footage-wise. It was just like, hey, here's when it's coming out. I figure once we get into the first of the year, then they'll probably drop a trailer.
I just want to play Fallout again.
I mean, dude, it's good stuff. Especially, like,
we'll have to
Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas.
3 was really good.
Yeah, if you mod up Fallout 4, it ain't bad either.
I went on PS5.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's probably not available on PS5 as part of the club anymore. You would have to buy it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I think it was available as part of that, and then after, obviously, the Microsoft acquisition, it might have gone away. But I don't know that for certain. But yeah, so we're getting it well before I thought we would, honestly. I figured we were going to see it end of next year, probably this time next year, but now we're going to get it in April. Which, I mean, probably is going to end up being a wide open release as far as TV is concerned.
Because, yeah, nothing's going to be out yet.
Yeah.
Especially with the way things are going right now.
Yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. I know that it's got our boy Walter Goggins in there. So I'm excited for that. It looks like they're going to do it. It's a weird mix of, like, comedy mixed with, like Fallout as a property. Has, like, comedy mixed with kind of grim. You know what I mean?
It's almost like comedic satire.
Well, definitely,
yeah.
But, like, when you're like, you find 2 skeletons just laying in bed holding hands, and you're like, tough.
Like, it's like the notes.
Yeah.
Like, people trying to save people.
Yeah, right.
Or what is it from Fallout 76? The pipe.
Yeah.
And the guy's just getting it's radiation.
Yeah. Yeah, he is dying.
Can't stop inhaling it.
The pipe.
We'll have to play Fallout 76 again. It really wasn't that bad,
no,
especially after their updates.
I do wish that the questing was a little cleaner.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen an RPG with co-op do questing or missions better than Borderlands. I mean, the Borderlands games go basically treat it like the single-player campaign, but you've got your buddies with you.
I played the prequel, and it was really bad.
Yeah, the pre-sequel's the worst one. Why did you play that one?
It was just the one that my buddy had. He was like, "Hey, try this out," and I was like, "All right." And I was like, "This is bad."
No, yeah, the pre-sequel's god-awful. Borderlands 2 is where it peak right there.
Top tier.
Yeah.
God tier.
Yeah, like when you've got a fucking class called the Gunzerker, and he's just a dwarf with 2 guns, and one of his skills is called the Sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Yes.
And it's just, as you take damage, you get to stay Gunzerking longer. And so you're just waiting out and as you get kills, you gain health back. So you can just wade out into them with 2 weapons. Yeah. I mean, it's fucking dope. We should probably hop in that. Borderlands 2 is like $2 on Steam now.
Okay.
But all of that to say, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 released on Friday and has become the fastest selling PlayStation Studios game. Selling 2.5 million copies in 24 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty healthy. And it's a PS5 exclusive. So that's pretty good signs for Sony. I mean, obviously they even said that like they're past the surge of demand versus supply, and they're fine on we can just pump them out now.
You want one, we got you.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be able to go to the store and find one. Which means that anybody that wanted a PS5, in theory, has one, unless they're like waiting for the new Slims to come out or a price drop or something like that. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's getting very good reviews. I'm not too terribly far into it. I'm probably
I keep seeing shit on TikTok, and I got like, skip right past it.
I'm like probably, as far as like main story, I'm probably like 8 hours in, maybe 8 to 10 hours. I feel like I'm probably on like the halfway mark or approaching halfway. But I mean, you figure the first game kind of does that too, where like you fight Mr. Negative, and then there's the next thing, and you're like, oh shit, there's more. And I could see this doing that for sure. Yeah. Just from what I know about it, with Kraven and Venom both being in it. Just got the black suit. I was showing you a little bit of web swinging. I didn't show you any spoiler like story stuff. No. I just showed you combat with like side missions and stuff. I will say that like the proper side missions with stories to them are much better in this one than in the first one. Where in the first one they were pretty repetitive, and there wasn't it was like go into this interior building and wipe out all the guys inside and then leave. Whereas like I did a side mission the other day that had no combat and was like just a story essentially of like, I lost my grandpa in the park. Can you help me find him? And like when you find him, you and him have a very nice heart to heart. And it was very like, that's Spider-Man to me, of like he was the guy that guy needed to talk to at that moment. Yeah. You know, he didn't have to throw a punch to help this guy. You know, and it was like, oh, that was really nice. You know,
I'm buying it.
You need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy the digital copy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good so far. The combat's pretty good. The traversal, fucking elite. I mean, you were watching me go. Yeah. You can move fast as fuck.
You're zooming through that shit.
Yeah. I haven't seen, like, a bunch of people on TikTok have been showing off, like, you can turn down the web assist, or like the swing assist, I think is what they call it. Mm-hmm. So that it's more skill based rather than the game helping you swing. Sure. And I'm like, I'm afraid to turn it on. Because I'm like, oh, I move really fast and I have fun, and I don't want to turn it on and realize that it was the game doing it. You know what I mean? But also, I kind of want to turn it on because a lot of people are like, yeah, but once you get the hang of it, you feel like Spider-Man because you're good at swinging. Right. You know? I'm like, fuck, I might have to try that.
Try it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I figure if we give us a couple weeks, we'll talk about it. Yeah. You get some gameplay in you, some gameplay up you, and I'll get some gameplay up in me. We'll probably end up in the same way that we were in God of War, where I'll beat it, and then you'll be way behind, and I'll have to, like, tiptoe around it, you know? Mm-hmm. And then come Christmas time, we can spoil it.
That's right.
But I think that's all I've got for news for you. If you want to start talking about the fantastic horror film, Blood and Honey.
That's right.
What's the synopsis on that, bub?
Yeah, so as a young boy, Christopher Robin found mutilated, creatures, humanoid
abominations.
Yeah, abominations. Yeah. And he cares for them and takes care of them, and feeds them, and raises them, and eventually Christopher Robin goes to college, and
he's got a life.
He's got to leave, and he leaves them behind, and they didn't know how to survive,
because he'd been feeding them.
Yeah, he'd been feeding them, so they had to eat Eeyore to survive.
Yeah. So the intro is like a hand-drawn sketch style. That was fucked up.
It was fucked up.
Seeing just your friends minus Tigger that you know of just emaciated. Devouring. Well, because they were like starving to death. So the last shot before they decide to eat Eeyore, they are just emaciated. Yeah. And it's like, Pooh decided that the only way they were going to survive was going to be to eat one of their friends. And they chose Eeyore. And Eeyore's just cowering at the back of this cave, and they're all skeletal standing over him. And you're like, oh my God.
Jesus. Yeah, and then when they did that, they vowed against Christopher Robin.
Against humans in general.
Humanity, and they no longer spoke.
Yeah.
And they vowed against speaking. And then it cuts to, 10 years later?
5 years later.
5 years later.
Yeah.
And
they are...
Christopher Robin is walking in the woods.
Like he's either married or engaged.
It's his fiance.
Yeah. At one point he calls her his wife. But I think that's just a writing issue.
Could be. But so they're walking, and he's trying to show her, like,
this is a part of me.
Yeah, I want to introduce you, and she's like, I don't really believe
I don't
you.
buy it. You know?
And then as they're walking, they find the hut, and it just has campers in there.
Yeah, like fucking like the stainless steel, like metal plated, like sun seekers.
Which means that they went into town and stole them.
And ganked them. I like to picture that they went to a camping world and bought RVs or little campers.
Oh my God! But so yeah, and then they're like, "This isn't how I remember it." And then they see the Rip Eeyore. Yeah, or it says Eeyore Rip.
Yeah, Eeyore Rip.
And then they're walking around and they find this piece of paper that's got Christopher Robin all mutilated on it, and that they drew.
They're drawing basically fan art of what they're gonna do too.
And then we see Pooh.
Well, sort of. They're hiding out in his hut.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
Pooh comes in and takes a fat nap, and they're just chilling under the bed, creep their way out. And as they fucking are like, all right, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
We gotta bounce.
Piglet comes squealing out of the dark and puts a chain around his fiance's neck.
Yeah. Real hard.
And breaks her neck.
And just kills her right then and there. And then somehow she busts her head, but she falls very slowly onto the cart.
He like lowers her down, and then she just got blood all over her face.
I was like, well,
how'd that happen? Yeah. And full disclosure, their costumes are only better than Halloween costumes by a small margin. Like the faces have more more to them than I thought they did initially. They look like Halloween masks.
I will say, and we'll talk about it more, that scene specifically later, but that scene where we see Pooh like looking into the camera and he's got like his eyes are black, but he's got the gold ring.
Yeah.
If they kept that the entire movie, you would have had me. Like, I'm like, he's scary.
And if the mouth was a bit more usable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there's a scene where he's supposed to be eating honey.
And he's just rubbing it on
the
his
mouth
lips.
because the mouth doesn't work, you know, on the mask. Now, I will say, while we're talking about it, it did only have a budget of $100,000.
That's true.
And some of the sets were, like, especially the 100 Acre Woods set, wasn't bad.
No, it was a good-looking set.
Yeah. To have the hut, like the tree house that Pooh lives in, and then some of the overgrown roots that are like a tunnel.
Those were pretty cool looking.
You know, and so there is some redeeming quality in that. And I love like, if you pitch this as a satirical comedy of we're gonna make a horror movie about a beloved children's property, kind of as a fuck you to Disney because it's available now, and you lean into that, I'm cool with it. This didn't lean into that.
Nah.
This was a poorly written slasher film with goofy killers.
Like, straight up, there's a scene where Piglet... So, there's this girl in the jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there and she's like taking selfies, right?
Yeah.
And which was too long of a scene of her just to be taken. It was like a solid like 3.5 minutes of just like her taking selfies and no dialogue.
Yeah, it was very, we're gonna sexualize this girl.
Right. And it was just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But then in one of the photos, Pooh's in the background and she's like looking around,
yeah.
And then she's like,
after they found out that the girl that they've gone there to hang out with has had a stalker.
Yeah.
And so, my first thought would be, oh, it's that guy.
It's that guy.
And she even says, are you still stalking Marissa or whatever her name is?
Yeah. And then she turns on the lights and then she doesn't see anything and just goes, well,
you're not ruining my night.
Yeah, well, you're not ruining my night, and just gets back in the jacuzzi.
And we were like, you fucking go inside. Yeah. What are you doing?
Call the police.
You have photo evidence of a freak watching you effectively bathe. I mean, you're in a hot tub.
Right.
In a scantily clad bikini.
And so, she's just sitting there drinking her drink, and then she gets chloroformed by fucking Piglet.
Yeah.
And they
as Pooh just kind of watches.
He's just sitting there
watching. Felt super creepy.
And then they just pick her up, and then it cuts open to a scene of Pooh's just in a BMW Beamer.
Yeah. He's in a Beamer, and they've got her hogtied in the driveway.
He's driving a fucking
Beamer. Where did he get
drive?
the Beamer? And like the girls come out eventually and see the Beamer.
Like souped up and shit.
And they eventually come out and see the Beamer and don't know whose car it is, which makes you go, "Where did this fucking car come from? Did they steal it? Why are they stealing vehicles?"
I can't help but fucking laugh at the thought.
They live in a heavily wooded area.
I just can't but laugh at the thought of fucking Pooh learning stick. Just getting fucking frustrated.
Picking up the standard, He's in there fucking with what do you call it? Like to pop the locks on, He's got the stick on him. He's popping the lock on Beamers to get in them.
Oh my God. But so that shit was so fucking dumb.
Perfect example of the caliber of slasher movie this was. The first real kill other than the fiance. Is a young woman that's supposed to be meeting the group of girls, which, by the way, they never care about her again. She never shows up, and they're just like, whatever, man.
Yeah.
She stops because her GPS is telling her to turn around. All right, let's start right there. After the intro of Christopher Robin's fiance getting killed, and Christopher Robin getting clubbed, it does a montage of, news clippings and news stories and clips from
saying missing in
the 100 Acre Woods. Don't go to the 100 Acre Woods. More killings in the 100 Acre Woods. Things like that. So this is a known issue.
Yeah,
which makes me go, why is it still going on?
Yeah, why
hasn't a copter hasn't gone over top and been like, there is a commune of some kind in the middle of these woods. Maybe that's what's happening. Let's go check it out. Then these girls manage to find an Airbnb in the 100 Acre Wood and go there. And this young lady is driving. She's the last one to get there. And she calls her friends and gets a voicemail. It's like, my GPS is telling me to turn around and I don't know what to do. It's the 100-acre woods, right? And whatever. And she just fucking just takes off on foot for some reason.
She has a car. Fucking reason.
And I very quickly just kind of stumbles into Pooh.
Yeah.
And
right off rip, he rips her shirt off.
He just yanks her shirt off, and she wasn't wearing a bra. So it was like, okay, there's the boobs for the movie.
Yeah.
And it felt like the kind of movie where every time there was a fight, I was waiting for nudity.
I was so waiting in the jacuzzi for her bra to come off.
Yes.
I was just like...
For the sake of...
Yeah, that seems like... It just felt like that kind of movie.
Yeah. Where they were going to go, here's an opportunity for tits. Let's put them in there.
Throw it in.
But they didn't. Unfortunately for the young lady, she's the only one with her breasts out at the beginning. And it's a giant bear that rips them off, rips them out, and then throws her into a wood chipper.
Yep.
It wasn't good. It wasn't even so bad it's good.
No, there's just a lot of parts in it where I was just like, how is this? What is this? This doesn't feel beneficial to the story or the plot. Like, what is this?
And like I was saying, I think there is a good movie on paper in the premise.
Sure, no, yeah, there is.
And it just isn't it.
No.
Because they could have really leaned into it and just built a movie on a meme, essentially.
I mean, I honestly think if they didn't make Pooh as humanized, maybe?
Yeah, if he'd have been a little more
mutated.
Pooh Bear.
Right, but still make him enough of a human.
Scary.
Yeah. Or he might have one hand and the other one's kind of like a weird mutated paw bear or paw.
Yeah, bear paw.
Yeah, but I don't know. Hopefully we'll see some cool change with Tigger coming along the way.
Yeah, they are making a sequel, and I believe at this point it is just called Blood and Honey 2. And in January of 2024, the character of Tigger enters the public domain, and they will be there with their own film to bring him into the fold, as well as the announcement of a what do you call that? Cinematic universe with Bambi and what was the other one? Peter Pan.
Yeah,
I was trying to think what the
which we got to talking. Peter Pan would be a pretty cool one. What if it feels
it was like Nightmare Neverland or Neverland Nightmare?
Yeah, what if it was kind of
yeah, here we go. Hold on, here's some
a kidnapper.
This is from the Wikipedia. Alongside the announcement of a sequel, 2 other horror films were announced: Bambi: The Reckoning, which, by the way, I called the plot. I went into its page. That's exactly what it's about.
Is it?
It is about Bambi getting revenge for the killing of his mother. And Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare, based on Bambi. A Life in the Woods and Peter and Wendy, respectively. I gotcha. In February 2023, Frank Waterfield, who's the writer-director, announced that the various projects take place in the same shared continuity franchise. While Jagged Edge Productions intends to eventually have crossovers featuring the characters, they're gonna Marvel. They're gonna have the Avengers team up of Winnie the Pooh, Bambi, and Peter Pan.
That's fucking hysterical.
All standing in a circle in the middle of Times Square. Frank Waterfield has also expressed interest in making films about Thor, the Norse God of Thunder, as well as copyrighted franchises such as the Teletubbies and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Nah, man.
Please don't.
Seth Rogen got it covered.
Yeah. And also, this was the guy's directorial debut, so far he's a swing and a miss.
Well, he made $5 million.
That is the thing. It had $100,000, and I think a lot of people were in the same mindset as us of there's funny potential here.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think the only thing that got us through the movie was making fun of the movie itself.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a good sign. You should be able to laugh along with it, not at it.
Not at it.
But it did make $5.2 million, so that's a pretty major success off of
$100,000. Huge success.
Which is why the sequel is allegedly getting 5 times the budget. So for $500,000, maybe we'll get $25 million back. If the math checks. But in the end, literally all of the girls die. I thought that we were going to have the final girl.
Yeah, no.
And we don't. The final girl is Christopher Robin. Maybe. They kind of leave it pretty ambiguous. Where, Christopher Robin takes his sweet-ass time running away into the woods, and then it just kind of fades to black. And it ends. And I was like, so are we supposed to assume that he gets away? They also make Winnie the Pooh a tank.
Yeah, he's yoked. Not ripped, but he's just unstoppable.
Yeah, he's unstoppable. He's a freak.
They straight up killed Piglet.
Yeah, brutally.
Yeah, like with a sledgehammer.
Which is good. You know? Like they're monsters.
They were getting their shit pushed in hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
Which this is the like, there was something about the sleaziness of the movie that I always was anticipating them to step over the edge into sex crimes. Especially when that young lady was tied up and beaten up. I was like, oh no, are they about to make this a sex thing?
Yeah.
And thankfully they didn't.
No.
But it would not have been out of line for what the rest of the movie had been.
Yeah.
Thankfully they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh no, are they doing this?
I see what you mean there, though.
Yeah, it was not good. Like it's a weird movie. Like there's so little content that I can't even say, like, I feel like we haven't talked about it enough, but I also feel like there's nothing more to say.
Nothing else to say. Like, that was really, like, there's a scene where, like, they walk into the Airbnb and Pooh had broken in and wrote "Get out"
on the
window
in their
and
friend's
they just
blood.
don't get out.
Yeah, and they're like it says "Get out," and they're like, "What do we do?"
Yeah, and we're like,
Get out.
Get out.
Yeah,
You
fucking
your
leave.
shit and leave.
Yeah, or leave your shit there.
Yeah, just
fucking go.
Fuck it.
Your friend is dead. You saw her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did drive over the friend's head with a car.
Yeah.
That was hardcore. Yeah. Like, it was pretty graphic at times, but in like the least teethy way.
It had bad CGI.
Yeah. The gore wasn't impactful. It just felt exploitative in a way.
Yeah.
Like, at one point, they've got Christopher Robin tied up and just start giving him lashings
with Eeyore's tail.
Yeah, as a whip. And then, do they like give him a shower in his fiance's blood?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
weird.
Yeah.
But that's also like, that's some demented shit.
That's some fucked up shit.
That's some demented shit there.
Yeah. It was, a wild ass movie. I think if you had taken illicit substances, it might have had more impact, or you may have lost focus sooner.
Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, it was one of the movies of all time.
One.
Yeah, I will watch. I will watch Blood and Honey too. So I guess it did what it was supposed to do, in some way. But yeah, not good. Sorry about it. On what I think is a better note.
Well, should we rate the movie?
Oh yeah, yeah. How do we rate stuff around here?
Well, you can always be overwhelmed, which means your expectations were surpassed.
It's exceeded.
Exceeded. Where you thoroughly enjoyed the film, or they can be underwhelming, where you thought it was pretty dog shit.
Yep.
Wasn't good.
Yep.
Or you can be right in the middle and be simply whelmed.
Do you want to 1, 2, 3 it? 1.
Hold on.
Are you? You have to think about it. 1, 2, 3. Underwhelmed.
I thought it did as bad. Like, I wasn't going into this thinking it was going to be a banging movie.
No. So we're we're doing the thing that we always do.
I know.
Where we don't agree on what a rating is supposed to mean. I'm saying it was bad.
It's a bad movie. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And it didn't meet my expectations because I'd hoped it was going to be so bad it was good.
I will say there was that scene where I talked about it with his black eyes and the golden ring.
Yeah, and
that was scary.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even talk about Morgan will beat her ass if we don't talk about it. And this could be Amazon subtitles being incorrect, but the music in the background,
oh my god,
was like, first of all, too dramatic.
Someplace.
Yeah, and it was like a male chorus saying the words "someplace."
That
smell. And then at another point, literally going something, 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 somewhere. That smell. And you're like, they never connect a thought that like you're supposed to get what it's trying to say.
Something somewhere. That smell.
And you're like, did somebody fart? Like, what's the, that smell. Something, something, something. It wasn't good. No.
Goofy.
I didn't like it.
Goofy.
I wanted it to be better than it was. Like I said, I expected it to be bad, but I wanted it to be like redeemably bad, where it has like, yeah, but come on, that was.
I did not hit her.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, it didn't fall in the room area of. Yeah, but at least it was
so bad it's funny.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was just painfully bad. Then, after that, we did watch 30 Days of Night.
Which was a very turnaround movie.
Yeah. It was a hard handbrake turn into, this is what a studio horror film was like.
Right.
What's the synopsis, Chris? I mean, I kind of gave a synopsis last week.
I ain't got one.
You don't know what the movie was about?
Well, yeah, but... So it was about this town in Alaska called...
Barrow.
And this is true. Alaska does have 30 days of night where the sun just doesn't rise.
Yeah. I don't know if it's exactly 30, but in some areas of Alaska, yeah.
But it's also
Alaska.
like the reverse, too. Like
where there's some areas where the sun just...
doesn't go away for 30 days.
Or you might only get like 4 hours of nighttime.
Right.
Or you live in twilight for 4 hours of the day, and then the rest of the day it's sunrise.
But so... all the people in the town, or most of the people in the town are leaving.
Leave for the...
And the population said like 567.
I think it was like 600 something. It was nearly 700.
Yeah, and then it got down to 159.
Yeah.
And everyone's leaving, and we meet the sheriff.
Yep.
And his name is Eben.
Yep, like Evan with a B.
And he's going through, checking on everything, making sure everything looks good. And then... he gets back, and there was a complaint about some guy giving a...
The synopsis is that there's...
I was just diving in.
You were just telling
us
the play-by-play. It's a town in Alaska where there's 30 days of night, and maybe a pack of vampires could do really well there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no sunlight.
Yeah. I'm pulling up what the box office was on it. Oh, it helps if I fucking use context. I just typed 30 box office. 3 days of night. Box office, there it is. All right. So, it was made on a $30 million budget, which really isn't that much in the grand scheme of things. But I think it did well with what it had.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say it.
I'll say it to his face in cursive. It grossed over $75 million at the box office.
Yeah, so I mean,
so it doubled its money. And then some.
Yeah, so it probably, if anything, broke even.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they probably didn't market it super heavy. And then you figure it still came out in the era of DVD sales.
That's true.
You know, and like, I've seen Matt Damon talk about that, where the old way of doing movies is like, even the studios talked about, like, the DVD release a lot of times was treated like a second opening weekend.
Right.
You know, of like, now the movie's available and we get another chunk of money running in. Mm-hmm. Now with streaming, it's not that way. Mm-mm. You know, and so it's got to make its money up front.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that DVD sale release week.
Unless you just don't stream it.
Right. Which then nobody's going to buy it because they don't know where to find it. You know, they pull up on their phone where to watch, blah, blah, blah.
Someone probably pirated it.
Yeah. Or they just don't bother. You know. But all of that to say, I kind of talked about it last week. The writer of the film is the same guy that wrote the comic. Mm-hmm. I think there was a couple people that teamed up on this one to, like, you know, tweak it into a screenplay for Sony. But the bulk of the movie is the same as the comic. That was the thing I was telling you and Morgan when we were watching it. Was like, yeah, this is pretty close. There's a couple added, like, I think there's a few characters added and fleshed out in some way, and a little bit more like interplay in the town. Mm-hmm. Kind of gives the town a bit more life. You even talked about like the small town feel.
Yeah, like everyone knows who everyone is.
Yeah, which in a town of like 650 people.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a small town.
And then when you consider these are the people that stay behind, they probably are the people that stay behind every year.
Yeah, it's not new.
So it's like a core group of like, these are the townsfolk.
Yeah.
You know, these are the ones that, I mean, Eben even has the line in the movie where he's like, you know, the thing that we have going for us is we know this town and we know the cold.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, we live here because we're the only people that can.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's their strength is we know this place. This
we can handle this.
This is every year for us, you know. And I wish they kind of had played into it more. The cold in the comics, the cold actually impacts the vampires slightly.
Okay.
In that they don't feel like they can smell very well in the cold. Where like normally they'd be able to sniff out the people, and they can't.
Not
which
as well,
kind of explains why the people that do survive, as long as they do, survive as long as they do. Because, you've got a pack of, there's
like, what, 8, 12?
There's probably like 12. I think you're in the double digits. There was probably 12 or 13 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You even say it yourself, it gets bad immediately.
Yeah, it's like soon as shit hits the fan.
Like basically as soon as it gets dark, which is, that's what they're sitting there waiting on.
Yeah.
And the town goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
Like cars on fire, blood in the streets.
They're ripping people out of their homes and just eating them right in their yard.
That one guy that's getting dragged through the street with a missing leg.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Or what was it? Those 2 guys were going to fool around with that girl.
Yeah. And then they all, it looks like they all work at the oil rig, and they're like, well,
just us.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Let's go back. Whose house are we going to go back to? And we're all going to take turns, and get drunk and touch each other, you know? And then that one dude just gets drug into the dark.
Like, just in a flash.
Yeah. To the point where they aren't exactly sure that they saw people take him.
Yeah, they're like, he just ran.
He disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, David,
And he fucking gets dropped from the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Ben Foster in this plays the stranger, which is the guy that kind of just rolls into town.
Yeah.
And he is the vampire's familiar. Do we want to rate it now or after?
Let's rate it now.
Yeah, because we kind of missed the mark on it.
Yeah.
By the time we rated Blood and Honey, people knew how we felt.
Yeah. Same. That's kind of same thing with this.
How do we rate stuff, Chris?
Same thing. You can be overwhelmed, underwhelmed, or simply whelmed. 1, 2, 3. Overwhelmed. It's a really good movie. It's definitely a good watch. I'd watch it again, and no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remembered the parts. It was the thing where I hadn't watched it in long enough that I only remembered certain parts right when it's about to happen. Where I'm like, oh yeah, and I think it does a good job of modernizing a vampire.
Yeah.
Of okay, here's some of the lore that's true, but a lot of it isn't.
Yeah.
The only thing that we know about them from the movie is that they can take bullets to the body.
Like nobody's business.
Yeah. If you destroy their head.
Yeah. That got the shotgun.
Blows the one's head just apart.
Clean.
And they don't seem to like being cut in half.
Or the UV light.
Yeah. Yeah. Sunlight does hurt them. And we gather from the context of the vampires, which I did like that the vampires have more personality, I think, in the movie than in the comic. Where the leader is we're not going to turn anybody. So make sure that you separate the head from the body.
Yeah.
So that's a clue to us of okay, if you separate the head from the body, that's a done deal right there. Destroy the head. It's kind of like zombie rules, Destroy the head, they're dead. Eben, and he does have his estranged wife, Stella, who is a fire marshal, which I forgot that, and I think it was the right call. In the comic, they're just husband and wife, sheriff and deputy, and they just kind of run the town.
Yeah.
In the movie, they're separated, and it kind of adds a nice ingrained, drama without it being super dramatic.
Right.
All things considered, they get along well.
Yeah.
But there is some tension of I guess I'll talk to you when I talk to you. See you later, Stella. Whatever. Stella. Fucking Ben Foster is the stranger. Nasty ass teeth.
Yeah.
They really grodied him up.
Yeah.
And I liked whatever accent he was going for. Whatever voice he was doing works for me.
It felt like a Russian one.
I don't know. It felt just kind of like a street person. You know what I mean? And I do wonder how they pick their familiars. It makes me curious about the
lore.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a shame because apparently the sequel movie called 30 Days of Night, The Dark Days or something to that effect is not good at all. Even according to the people that like 30 Days of Night, the movie, we're like, yeah, don't watch it. So I might read the comic, 30 Days of Night, The Dark Days, but I haven't read any reviews of the comic. The comic might also be disappointing.
Right.
That might be where it falls apart is you wonder about the world, and then once they build the world, you go, actually, you know what? I'd like to keep it in my imagination. Leave it to me. But it does. It makes me curious of how do they pick this guy up why was he the one they picked. Obviously, he's not mentally well, and he was easily manipulated. Right, he definitely has a homeless vibe, so he might have been a down on his luck homeless guy, and they're like, hey, we can give you money, power, strength, whatever.
Promised land.
Yeah, you just have to go do these things for us, and then we'll turn you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'm your Huckleberry. And yeah, he fucking kills dogs.
Yeah, 14 of them.
Yeah, hard.
With a knife.
Yeah, brutal stuff. He also steals all the cell phones in town.
Yep.
And burns them, which I like that kind of wrinkle of like, yeah, send that guy in ahead of time. Kills the dogs because the dogs would smell them coming and potentially fight back, and they don't have any interest in eating the dogs. They want human blood. And then get rid of the cell phones to try and get rid of communications. And then the first place that the vampires attack at dark is the communications tower. So there's no phone.
They shut them down.
Yeah, no phone, no radio, no TV. You know, it's just shortwave radio that'll work out there now. Basically cut them off from the world. Terrifying.
Yeah, that is fucking scary. The thought of like, we're alone.
You're alone out here.
Yeah, it's just us.
Yeah, the only thing that we can do is wait for the sun, which is literally the plan they come up with.
Yeah.
Is like, we gotta wait for daylight. You good? You just got concern in your eyes all of a sudden.
Just my toes are itchy.
They kill a little girl.
Yep.
In this, she is a vampire. But that was kind of brutal.
That was hardcore.
Like, yeah, so they come up with a plan of like, we're gonna hide out in this dude's attic,
which wasn't a bad plan.
No,
and it really worked for him.
Yeah, because it's the kind that pulls down out of the ceiling with the ladder, and
but it looked seamless.
And so you can grab the string from the other side and pull it up, and it just unless you know it's there to look for it,
you're not gonna.
You don't know that it has an attic, And so as long as we're quiet and keep it mellow in here, we're solid. And it's a boarded up house, so the assumption is that it's empty.
Yeah, it's already been boarded up before anyone
left. Yeah, and so they do go and decide that once the vampires start going door to door,
they should probably bounce.
We need to this isn't going to be permanent. Even though I argue they probably could have.
They could have
just kept quiet and stayed up top.
Yeah,
but it's probably not worth the risk. And so they're like, all right, we're going to wait for a blizzard and then run to what they call it, the utilidor. It's basically just this giant factory type building on the up on the hill out on the outside of town. And it's basically just a giant metal factory building that they could keep safe in. Where it's got like heavy metal doors to lock down. You'll be safe from the cold, and we'll wait it out. The crowd gets thinned, obviously. Heavily.
Like what, 159 to 6?
Well, by the end of the movie, 5.
Yeah.
And technically 4, because Stella's not even from that town anymore. She's living in Anchorage. So basically 4 townspeople are left.
Jake.
Yeah, the brother, 2 of the ladies, and then a little girl. Like, what do you tell the authorities?
Like, no one's going to fucking believe you.
Yeah. Though I guess you've got a couple of... Well, no, because I bet when the sun comes up, the bodies
Because that's what I was going to say is Eben.
Yeah, but he burns away.
Yeah, he just turns into dust.
Yeah. And I bet, like, the lead vampire who, by the way, he kills the fuck out of that guy.
Who?
The lead vampire. He kills the lead vampire.
Oh, yeah, Eben does. Yeah, he does.
We should probably explain that, yeah. Eben decides that the only way to fight these guys is to be one of them.
I didn't really like that part.
No?
That wasn't for me.
What did you want him to do?
I don't know. I was expecting Eben just to think of something strategically. Like to be like, we can't... knowing like there's no way we can take all these guys at once, but figuring out a way of like, how can we hold them off until sunlight and force them to be in sunlight or fucking leave.
Right.
And just kind of put them in a position where we can't win, or we can't beat them, but we won't lose.
Sure.
And I guess that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like
yeah,
this blows.
Right.
But it was like I think that's where it differs from like, that would be cool in a comic book.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little cheesy in a movie.
Sure. I think you're wrong. It worked for me.
No, I mean, that's cool, man.
No. because he beats the fuck out of that guy.
He does.
Actually, not really. He's getting his shit rocked.
I say they both get their fucking shit pushed in.
Yeah. And then he just managed to get the vampires diving at him. And he managed to spin around and punch him in the face effectively.
Yeah.
But just punches right down his mouth and out the back of his head.
And everyone's...
Yeah, all the other vampires are kind of like, all right, better head out.
We gotta discuss about who's new alpha here, because we do not know what we're doing.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about it is he probably killed the whole pack. Because by the time they leave, the sun comes up pretty soon after. Unless they had some sort of getaway, they're out in effectively a desert. They're in an Arctic wasteland with the sun
where do you think they're even
up.
from?
All over, and they've got to travel. I do wonder so there was a ship at the beginning that the stranger is looking at, and I think he was on that ship and then came ashore. And I wonder if they were waiting in the ship. You know what I mean? They were stowaways, effectively.
Yeah. That could be it.
But before that, I don't know where they would have come from. Which, again, that's that thing I was talking about of, I do want to know more about the world.
Yeah.
Which makes the failure of the sequel much more disappointing.
Yeah.
Of, it sounds like well, you don't get a good answer. Or not the answer you want. Yeah. I mean, it was a good movie. Brutal.
It was. Good.
Pretty,
so much fucking
gory.
blood. Yeah. And the bloodiness in it was good.
Yeah.
I think it was a good gore.
Yeah, the color of the blood.
It felt very real.
Yeah. Where it's not bright red on the snow. It's that deep, almost black.
Yeah.
And
what is it? Not Earl, but...
Bo, the guy that lives on the outside of town?
No, the guy who worked at the communication center.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah, but they end up decapitating him and throwing his head on a fucking stick.
Spike? Yeah.
That was fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's hardcore. Yeah, which does make me think of, when the authorities get there, what do you say to them?
Well, they did burn down the town.
Is the town fully gone, or did they manage to stop that from happening?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So then you just got
because they just poured oil so that they're...
Yeah, they opened up, they basically broke the pipeline and then lit the oil on fire.
Just to make it look like an accident.
Yeah, just some awful accident. But since you've got survivors, you've got 4 people that can be like, no, this is what happened.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this is what happened.
And then, they're all going to get their story straight.
Yeah. I don't know. It does make me think we should at least check out the sequel.
I would be down for it.
And it's apparently about Stella.
Okay.
Looking for these vampires, kind of not necessarily these vampires, but vampires in general. And it's because I was telling you, in the comic, the subplot of the comic that they don't include in the movie is that there's these people down in New Orleans, a mother and son who are, it seems like they're maybe either amateur vampire hunters or vampire hunters who know that vampires exist but haven't ran into any.
Okay.
Maybe. Because it's kind of they're intercepting the communications between the vampires, where the vampires are literally texting or emailing, hey, did you get the deets on our meetup? This is the place to be. We'd love for you to come, you know? And that was something that I kind of wanted to see in the movie. Now I've got back, able to hindsight. That's what I'm looking for is, the leader of the vampires in the movie in the comics is the guest of honor. Okay. It's oh, he came. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the leader of the little enclave that we see is actually the bald guy.
Okay.
The bald vampire. Yeah. And he's kind of the amateur that's I can't believe he came, And then the leader's kind of you fucking idiot. What are we going to tell? What are people going to think when this happens? When this whole town just disappears. And he's the reason why they end up burning the town down is because he's gotta destroy the evidence.
Yeah, we gotta fucking dip.
But yeah, so there's this subplot of they've been intercepting these communications and are gonna try and fly up there in a helicopter or something and get video footage,
pictures,
and then dip. You're not there to get involved. You're there to get proof and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that implication of there's people this world exists.
Yeah.
Because even the vampires talk about that, we used to be a legend, a thing that people knew about. We've managed to hide our way into legend and myth.
But now
you're risking us,
coming back
into the public eye, and so I really like that implication. I would like to see them do that well, but I don't see it I don't see them taking another swing at it. You know what I mean? It's not a movie that I think anybody's like clamoring for a reboot or a retry or, but this is the actual sequel.
Very underrated, once it drops where everyone's like, yo,
wait a minute. Yeah. Apparently the writer of the comics has done a few different like spin-off series or there's basically 2 sequels and then like an in-betweenquel. And he even like basically did kind of a reboot of sorts. But like as recent as like 2019, but apparently it wasn't very great or didn't get received well and only had like 6 issues. But so he also, it sounds like this is the only thing he's ever done. Like I was looking on his IMDb to see if he did other movies, like if he got into the movie business this way. Not really. He has a screenplay credit on the sequel, which makes sense because he wrote the comic. But then other than that, that's all he's done. And that one's got like a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. But also this had like a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I don't agree with that.
No, I thought it was a lot better.
Yeah.
It was a very good film.
But then again, Blood and Honey had like a 3%, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, who knows, man? But all in all, I think check it out. Like, watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a good Halloween movie, especially if you live in a place that gets cold around Halloween. Because there's just something about being in a dark, cold room with yourself bundled up, watching people in a dark, cold area getting ripped apart by vampires. But
pretty hot.
Pretty all right. What you been thinking about there, Chris?
Man, I'm having an allergic reaction.
You sure are. Yeah, I meant to tell out at the top. You look like you've gotten into a chemical accident.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Like, nothing's changed. I'm not doing nothing different.
We didn't change detergent or anything like that.
I went to the doctor and they're like, well, sometimes you can just, your body confuses itself and says, that,
and riles itself up into a reaction.
It's been going on for like the past 5 days now.
Yeah,
4 or 5. 4. Yeah, it was having Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Today would be the 5th.
Today's the 5th day.
Yeah, it's only your second. You've had your first full day of steroids today.
Yeah, my balls are shrinking.
Yeah, he's just super aggro. Put a hole in the wall.
I'm punching women.
He's really interested in Joe Rogan.
I'm really fucking.
He's really into the Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah, he's just making a lot of sense. You know?
Yeah.
But no, I itch all the time, man. And it just sucks. And like, my face got all puffy at work today, and I had to leave. Because, like, I got shooed out by one of the other managers.
I don't want to look at you anymore.
And she was like, you need to go to the hospital.
You're bad for sales.
Because, like, it was starting to creep up on my face and stuff. And it was one of those, like, I didn't even notice. And then Carol was like, ooh, what happened to your eye? I was like, what do you mean? I looked in the mirror, and I just see how splotchy I am. And, like, my blood vessel popped in my eye.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, my God. And so I went over, and I was like, hey, I gotta go to the doctor. Something, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right. So I went over to the doctor, and the doctor was just like, yeah.
I mean,
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, like.
And I was like, sick, so I just gotta suffer. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, it'll go away.
Yeah, it'll just give it time. She gave me some ointment. And then she
topical.
she just gave me more medication for my steroids.
Yep.
And then she was like, yeah, just...
let the steroids run their course.
Yeah, for a little bit. And she's like, if you're still not seeing anything in a while, then, like, come back. But, like, give it a couple days.
Yeah, you got to give it time.
And so I was like, all right, but... And so I left. But, like, man, it's, like, right now, too. It's on the bottom of my feet. Like, the soles. And it hurts. It hurts so fucking bad. And it doesn't even itch. It just...
And, like, also, little known fact about Chris. If he has a medical issue... He's the first person it's ever happened to. And probably no one's had it as bad as him.
That's right.
As the way he behaves. He's that patient. That's like, I don't think I'm going to make it. You're like, bub, you've got a cold. Or, bub, you've got a rash. I'm sorry it itches. I know it.
It is bad.
I know. Well, remember when I had my my poison ivy all over my body right after I had my sunburn. Now, I understand. That was 6 weeks of my skin just hurting.
Yeah, dude. This sucks, man. It's just fucking head to toe. It hasn't hit my dick or balls yet.
Yeah.
Thankful. Knock on wood, bro. I'm not even playing.
Well, quit touching them.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be the hard part for you. I'm just not touching your willy. You're like a 5-year-old dude.
I am, man.
You're
I'm like a fucking baby elephant.
Yeah. You're like worried it's going to get taken.
If I don't, yeah.
If you ain't got a hold of it, someone's going to
Is it true if you don't use it, you lose it?
If you ain't holding it, someone else is taking it, dude.
So, but other than that, just working a whole lot. That's been pretty cool. And then, I started playing Sims. I started fucking around with that, and that's been pretty fun. Did we talk about the fact that we started Minecraft?
I think so.
Yeah, and then it crashed, and we lost it. But I would like to try to pick back up on that. By a lot. I really want to. But
we've been winning more often at Apex Legends.
We got just 3 dubs, like pretty
back to back, just about.
Yeah, we are getting good at the game.
We're getting much better at getting to the end.
Yeah,
like if we're dying,
I've been making. I'm keeping up with you guys hard.
Yeah, you're doing much better.
Like I'm doing.
Don't let it get to your head, though.
Nah, I will, but
I know.
I've been doing a lot better than your dad.
Yeah. Well,
past couple games.
There's been a couple times where...
No, I'm not saying...
Especially in the last fight where I'm having to go, Chris, what the fuck are you doing? Get in there.
What?
Dad's in there holding his own in the last fight. What? Get in there and fucking finish this guy. Help him.
Well, I'm not saying...
You're like, I found a gun over here, guys. Like, this is the last fight. Fucking drop it and get in here.
I don't know about all that. I'm not saying all the time.
I took this portal... Cool, I'm fighting and dying while you're off on the edge of the map. That's the thing. That's the next thing you need to work at. You've gotten better at getting kills. Now you need to get better at communication and just game awareness.
Yeah.
Of like prioritizing, knowing where people are at, and the moves you need to make.
Yeah.
You've gotten the combat down.
I will say, I do think, as goofy as it's gonna sound, I've been playing a lot more Siege lately.
Sure.
My buddy and I will play that, and we have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah.
And like that is a very like strat heavy game.
Yeah.
Like you gotta focus up and because that's my problems. I'm a very barbaric person.
Right.
And so I think that game's been teaching me like how to not be barbaric, especially if like you're defending, don't peek.
Right.
Right. And just like getting the sense of like recoil and like range and stuff like that. So that's been helping, and so I think that does genuinely help because but Siege is such a game you gotta sweat at to actually be good be good.
Yeah, your damage and your kills have gotten better.
Yeah.
Now it's just the situational awareness and the like in the moment communication.
I will say the battle royale aspect kind of fucks me up because like they could come hit you up, hit it from behind. Hit me from behind. I mean, get this cape off me.
You don't have a designated map that you can just have the map memorized.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you've played in this area well enough that you go, okay.
I know exactly where we're at.
And there is some logic too of like, if this is the layout, I can probably run around this way and get to there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just some of that in the moment thought that I don't think you do. You get tunnel vision.
I do.
I got to get this kill.
I was after I left the doctors.
Yeah.
Because I came back and I was like, all right, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Just so you know. I was standing there and I was like, I'm gonna get a water real quick because I'm a little parched, right? Throat's a little scratchy, and I walk over. One of my associates walks up and walks past me. I goes, oh, you scared me. Sorry. And I just stood there and I was like, I'm a human being,
not an animal.
Not an animal. Felt like such a fucking chump.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What are you? Oh my God.
No.
I said, what if you just got leprosy?
I got lupus. It was spinal.
It was spinal.
I broke my back. But what do you even think about?
Spider-Man 2, baby.
Yeah, you have.
I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I've been playing a lot of Spider-Man 2.
You can't talk about it.
I'll talk about it. No, I won't do that to you.
No, please don't.
So, I will say one thing. The MJ missions are back. But, like, they gave MJ combat prowess to an extent.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like a less capable Ellie.
Okay.
Because it's like stealthy sneak around, do takedowns. You know, she's not getting into like open combat.
Sure.
But so there is like this weird thing of like, what? MJ is an assassin, I think. And they do explain it in game. Mm-hmm. But like, it is this strange thing of like, I saw a meme on TikTok of like, oh no, another MJ mission. I hated these in the first game. And then the next scene was just Ellie stabbing a guy repeatedly in the neck. Yeah, and you're like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
You got Spider-Man who's like, you know,
he won't kill.
Well, and she's not killing either. She's like using a taser, but it's effectively the same thing.
She's
replaced the taser for a blade. She's doing what Ellie does, just jumping on their back and tasering them in the neck.
Oh my god!
Until their heart stops. But no, it's fun. Like I told you, the side missions are much better.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really talk about it. Kraven's pretty cool. Haven't seen him too much yet, but I think they're kind of doing like a less is more thing with him. Mm-hmm. Of like his theme, hard.
Really?
Yeah. Like when he rolls up and you hear his music, you're like, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's got better music than Killmonger.
No.
Dude, Killmonger's got some banging music.
He's got some bops.
Yeah.
As the kids say.
And also, I like his mask.
Yeah.
Or not? Yeah, the mask that he steals in the.
Yeah.
That was dope.
That he takes back from the museum.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I've been thinking about, like unironically, a really good reality TV show that I've been watching on YouTube with Morgan is called The Specials.
Yeah.
It's like just free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think it's originally from like the Oprah network.
Okay.
Because my thought was like it's a British TV show, but because the people that it's about are British, mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure I saw in like the end credits or whatever that it's from the OWN network. But it's literally about like I don't know if you call it like a group home or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the British equivalent of like a group home is, if they call it anything differently. But it's for people who they have learning disabilities. And so like the majority of people in the house have Down syndrome. But it's just like, hey, this is what their life is like, you know?
Day to day.
And it's kind of like Morgan compared it. She was like, it's kind of got like a Jersey Shore thing, but wholesome, which is so true of like, what are they doing this weekend? You know, they're mm-hmm. going out partying, they're going to the club, you know, and things like that, but they're just sweet and they're not Jersey Shore douches.
Right.
You know, but like we're in hook, line and sinker. We watched like 3.5 hours of this one night. And they're just so sweet and entertaining people. Yeah. And like, yeah, I mean, I think what's the comedian's name? Sam Gillis. Mm-hmm. He's the one that put me onto it because he was on some podcast talking about it.
Yeah.
He's got family with Down syndrome, I think is how it got brought up.
His Uncle Randy.
Yeah. And the episode that had me and Morgan laughing really hard was just the main, not the main guy, but one of the housemates is named Sam. And he's just trying to get some puss, dude. But like in the most innocent way. I think it's more like if he got a girlfriend, he wouldn't know what to do with her. You know what I mean? But he knows he needs a girlfriend. And so he's just talking about how the girls are sexy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the girls are sexy.
Yeah, and he's got such a thick British accent, and it kills me. Because he's like almost like chimney sweep, you know? And and they go to a Lady Boys of Bangkok burlesque show, and he's not getting that. And so
they're trying to explain it.
And so like, yeah, his like one of the, I don't know if you call them like helpers, or they're not nurses, but like the people that like chaperones almost, that go with him to events and stuff and help him with the things they need help with, is trying to explain to him, because he's super excited. Sam is. He's talking, that's where we were like, the girls, they are sexy, you know? And he's super jazzed about it. And they're like, you know that they're not girls, right? Like, it's called the Lady Boys of Bangkok, mm-hmm. because they are boys that look like ladies. And he's like, I don't believe you, you know? you pulled on my chain. And he's like, no, I'm not. Like, at one point he's like, they've got willies. And he goes, don't be rude.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. And that just fucking killed Morgan, as him just pointing at his helper. Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. And what happens if you found out they were boys?
I'd be fuming.
Why?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea. Yeah, it's so
fuming.
I'd be fuming. No, it's so good. And like at one point they're at a costume party and he wants to go as Prince Charming and he just dresses up like almost looks like a musketeer with like the tricorn hat, you know? And he's fucking there's just a smash cut to him dancing at this Halloween party with almost none of his costume on. He's just down to like a white t-shirt and he's got his jacket like tied around his waist because he's been dancing so hard and he's just dripping sweat. And you're like, my God, he's going for it.
Yeah, he's in there.
And what killed Morgan and I is the group comes into the club where they're doing the party and it seemed like it was mixed crowd. There was, looked like maybe just, regulars at the club there as well as maybe multiple houses are there. And he basically tells them, like, you guys go on, I'll be by the door. And he's standing there, and, like, this woman, and obviously is there with her spouse, come walking in. And he goes, hello, gorgeous, to her as they're walking by. And then he just looks at the cameras, kind of like raising his eyebrows at the camera, like, do you see that, bitch?
Hello, gorgeous.
Hello, gorgeous. And she kind of laughs and waves at him and walks by, and he's just got this big old grin and he's raising his brows, like, yeah, I'm in like Flynn, dude. And like they've got a pub that they go to regularly, and he's just always at the bar talking to the bartender. And all I could think about was like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, he's taking them in.
He is shooting the shot.
Shoot the J.
But no. And then it's got some genuine good, like, sweet, heartwarming stuff of like, seeing some of the struggles that they have too. Of like, and I mean, it sounds naive if you don't have people like that in your life, but there is that thing of like, they've got the same fucking problems we do.
Yeah.
Having love life problems and like parents getting divorced and things like that. And it's like, it happens. This young lady's worried about losing her job, and this young lady's worried about her boyfriend, and one of them's an Olympian, know. And so it is a pretty good job of like giving you a respectful insight. And, it's not exploitative, which was my worry, was that I'd watch and it'd be like, isn't it funny?
Right,
you know
making
what I mean?
fun of them.
And it's not that at all. It's just like...
it's funny because, I mean, it's just like you would laugh the
relatable.
same way at the Jersey Shore,
exactly,
right?
And that's exactly why I loved that Morgan said that, because I was like, that's exactly what it is. It is the Jersey Shore, but with these people in London, But no, it's really good. Watch the specials. It's like free on YouTube, and I think all of the seasons are on there.
I think I'm going to start watching.
And they're like 23 episodes apiece, and it's super digestible. Nice. And it's so easy to like when it goes to autoplay the next episode, you're just like, oops, I guess I'm watching another one.
I'm watching it.
But yeah, watch the specials. It's good shit. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you liked this episode, be sure to give it a great review.
Please.
Like and favorite, whatever you got to do to it. Make sure that you're following, liking, and subscribing to us on your audio streaming service of choice. That way you get notified when we post new episodes every Wednesday. If you
every Wednesday.
Every fucking Wednesday. If you have watched Blood and Honey and want to tell us what you thought about it, want to tell us what your, Disney movie turned horny movie. No, Disney movie turned horror movie. Yeah, see Luca as a horror movie.
Honestly,
I think there's an opportunity because a lot of the early Disney movies are grim fairy tales that have been Disneyized. Yeah, exactly. And so then it's like, well, what if you just, now that it's available again, just turn it into a horror movie? But all of that to say, Mary Poppins.
Ooh. That'd be just the witch who comes in and just kills kids.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Says she's a doctor.
Or she's just manipulative, She like tries to squeeze up on the husband, kicks the kid, treats the kids awful. There's opportunity there.
Yeah. That's I feel like that's more Cinderella.
Well, Mary Poppins does end up dating the kid's dad, doesn't she? Or does she not?
I don't think she did, because she ends up leaving, doesn't she?
Probably.
Because she's like,
they always do.
Yeah. Hoes ain't loyal. Yeah. These hoes ain't loyal. Mary Poppins
just trifling. She's for the streets. Fucking.
She belongs to him.
Yeah. She's got Plan B in her bag.
Stop it.
Nah, cut it out. Anyways, if you've got an idea for a Disney fairy tale turned horror movie,
Bob that shit like Tic Tacs.
It's like a daily prescription, dude. Just to be safe. She's never more than one day away from a possible pregnancy, so she's just taking one a day.
That is trifling.
Mary Poppins, because she's popping pills, dude. Anyways.
Gator wears Gator's bitches wear Jimmy's.
She yeah. Anyways. Fucking tell us what you want to see.
Yeah.
I guess. Next week. How would people get in touch with us?
Yeah, you can always take a look at us on social media. You can take a look at our Instagram, Facebook, which is the Simply Whelmed Podcast. You can always take a look at our Twitter. Our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. Or you can always send us an email. I mean, fuck it, baby. If you want to come see our next movie with us or something, just write us an email and let us know, and maybe we'll pick you.
Didn't talk about this. Yeah, just go ahead and invite it.
Yeah. No, just... Lucky winner, maybe you.
Possibly you, investors. Possibly you.
What is it? It's just that group of people from, what is it? Not Romania. Where is it in Europe?
Fuck are you talking about?
We have like that small group.
Oh, Tappahannock, Virginia? Or...
No. I thought we had like a small group in Europe somewhere.
I don't think so. Not that I remember discussing.
Maybe it was Germany? I thought you showed it to me. Either way, yeah, we'll take a small group. And if it's you that wins, you will have to
buy our tickets.
Yeah, buy our tickets. It's on you.
Here's what we'll do. We'll all agree on a day to just go see the movie, but not together. But you'll just know
that
we all saw the movie today. Yeah. We were with you in spirit.
In spirit.
Next week, did you say what our email was?
SimpleWhelmedMailbag@gmail.com.
This is falling off the wheels quick. The tequila's hitting. The Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yep.
Probably what we're going to talk about next week.
You gotta.
And or FNAF. But I think we got to prioritize Killers of the Flower Moon.
We will.
So then...
We must.
So I guess that's the next 2 weeks right there, baby.
Yer.
And then at that point, Loki will be finished up and we can do a recap on that.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching it.
And then the week after that, hopefully, we've both finished Spooderman. Spooderman.
Spooderman. Sploogerman.
That's the episode, Chris.
Bye.